Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Mystery Sports Podcast. Today, bit of a short episode. We're going to go through a bit about Matthias de Ligt. Is he underrated? Is he world class? That is the big question here. Bit about Sunderland, how their impressive start to the Premier League is going, and obviously 5 games in, and no one would predict where they are at the start of the season. I think a lot of people, including myself, are predicting them to go down. So just a bit about them, and then obviously we have got a few fixtures tonight, especially in the Carabao Cup, and the Europa League does kick off today. So yeah, let's get into it. So first, let's talk about Matthias de Ligt. So Matthias de Ligt, United signed him last year. A lot of people thinking he's not that good anymore. He's that overrated not striker, overrated centre half now. He's not doing what he's normally been doing at when he first broke through to Ajax. And to be fair, they're right. But then a lot of people do dismiss Matthias de Ligt. I think with de Ligt, the way his aggression is on the football pitch, when he was at Bayern, Juventus, and Ajax, it was clearly there. And I think this season, especially, you can definitely see that in Matthias de Ligt. Matthias de Ligt has looked that aggressive centre back that he was at Ajax, just putting himself into challenges, bodying people, making those defensive clearances, goal line clearances. I think that's what we look for in Matthias de Ligt. And I think, especially with how Ruben Amorim sets up with his three centre halves, I think he's very crucial to playing that central centre back. And I mean, you got Yoro on the right, so he obviously is world class there. And then when Sandro Martinez gets back, obviously there'll be changes there on whoever the left sided centre back is, or it be Shaw, or Sandro Martinez, or even Aiden Heaven. So you've got a bit of quality there, but then Matthias de Ligt, I think he took that position of the central centre half very, very well. I mean, keeping Maguire out of the team, and Maguire's had quite a good um, last season, and obviously he's had a decent start to this year. And I think, especially against Chelsea, Maguire looked amazing, but more so Matthias de Ligt. I don't know if it's just because it's English media, and a lot of English media tend to obviously highlight the English players more than the actual foreign players more than anything because of home bias. I think that could be a potential thing. But Matthias de Ligt, like, wow, he's a very, very good player, very good centre back. Just a quick stat here that he's won more duels than anyone in the Premier League this season as a centre half. And I mean, that's his job at the end of the day, isn't it? As Roy Keane says, that's his job. But he's winning those duels more than anyone in the Premier League. He, for me, I'm really happy there. I think he's done an amazing job. It just he needs to keep doing it, and hopefully United can build on that and play from him and build the not build the team around him. I'm just like saying as if they were build the back three with him in it. And I think he's a massive part of Ruben Amorim's plan, especially Lenny Oro as well. I think both of them two, mainly Matthias de Ligt, will be part of the plan and for future seasons if Ruben Amorim does stay in here, which I think he does. I think also as well, a lot of people just disregard him, and I don't know why they do. Like, everyone knows he's a world class centre back. He might not show it, but he's definitely up there. Like, I'd honestly say he's got to be top 5 centre backs in the Premier League. And I know a lot of people will disagree, saying, "Oh, you've got Saliba, Gabriel, Ruben Diaz, Stones, and things like that." And I agree. Yeah, Van Dijk as well. Like, he's definitely not better than them because they've done it in the Premier League for for a longer time, and they're more consistent. But he's definitely up there. 100% he is. I would, if I'm gonna say my top 5 centre backs in the Premier League, probably going Van Dijk first, then Saliba, then probably Stones, Gabriel, and then De Ligt. And I'd say Diaz is just out there because I think Diaz has been very inconsistent lately just because of his injuries. But if Diaz kicks it on and stuff, Diaz can easily overtake them and get back into that number 1 position there he was a few seasons ago. Because don't get me wrong, they're all brilliant centre halves. And yeah, I think Matthias de Ligt is a very, very good player. And obviously, I'm going to be that like because I'm a United fan. However, I think with his aggression and especially the Arsenal and Chelsea game, played very, very well. And I think just goes under the radar in his performances, which I think is quite poor, really, from Matthias de Ligt. Not from Matthias de Ligt, from the media and from fans as well, especially. Just I think he's a brilliant, brilliant centre half. But yeah, on Sunderland, I mean, wow, Sunderland. What a start for their season, like, sitting 7th in the league, a 3-0 win against West Ham for the first game. Obviously, they lost to Burnley 2-0, then a 2-1 win to Brentford at home, away drawing at, Crystal Palace, which is a tough place to go, no matter what team you or who you are, and then even at home to Villa, drawing there 1-1, with a man sent off. Just brilliant. I think Sunderland have had a really, really impressive start, and I love the way that they're playing their football. They're not trying to do anything risky. They're just trying to play their football, keeping it tight, 4-3-3, and just doing the basics right, and I think that's what they've got to do. Just if they can do their basics right in the Premier League, I think they can easily stay up. And judging by the form, I know obviously they've had a bit of an easy, like not the hardest of run because they've not played any of the big six teams yet until United on the 4th of October. However, I do think that there's a lot of there's a lot of optimism for Sunderland fans, and I think Sunderland can definitely stay up. If they can get the results, for example, like the next few fixtures are a bit more difficult, but if they can get a result against Forest to draw there, brilliant for them. Obviously, United, I think it'll be a tough game. I know it's at Old Trafford as well, so I would say United would win that. Wolves, if they can get a win there, especially at home, because a Stadium of Light is a very um, impactful stadium, and the noise that they do make over there is brilliant there, and it's almost like a 12th man they'd have on the pitch. So I think they beat Wolves, and then they have Chelsea away, which I think Chelsea will win because there's just the quality there, and then Everton at home. I think they could get a draw there, and if they can get at least, let's say, 4 points from those 5 games, that's brilliant for them, and it just keeps them up there. Because if in the league, especially as well, we just go back to the league on here. So, like, they've got Fulham there. Fulham aren't in the best of form. Obviously, Man City and United are behind them, but I think as soon as the table starts shaping itself up after about 10 games, I think you can definitely see, obviously, United and City, I think, will definitely go back up into that top half of the table. Then Everton will be there near Fulham. I think even Crystal Palace might drop off. I think with obviously the Conference League and the Europa League starting soon, it will obviously be a big difference for their league form, because I think a lot of people will obviously want Palace, especially their fans, will want them to focus on that competition and obviously do the best that they can possibly get there. Because I think at the end of the day, for them, Palace need to get results in the Conference League, and Nottingham Forest as well, same. So I think Sunderland have got a very good opportunity to just, like, if they win their games and get points there and not get battered by anyone and play how they are, and I think they do really well this year, and they could definitely stay up. The same with Leeds and stuff, and I definitely will do an episode on Leeds, even though it will pay me as a United fan. Joking. um, I think both sides, even Burnley as well. Like Burnley are looking this year. I don't think that all three teams will go down. Possibly one of them will go down, but I think Wolves, West Ham, and Villa are definitely in trouble. I mean, Villa need to kick on, and I think they will eventually. It's only a matter of time until they kick on. But considering the way that um, Sunderland have played and the Burnley and Leeds, they could easily stay up. They're very tight defensively. They're not conceding like poor goals. They're not getting battered. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously Leeds got battered off Arsenal, but it's Arsenal at the end of the day, and Arsenal were probably expected to go and win that game 4-0, 5-0 like that. But I think it's a very good result for and form for Sunderland, sitting 7th in the league, top half. Brilliant from them. They can't really complain as a Sunderland fan. They're probably over the moon with, if I think they would have snatched this off of them. If you tell a Sunderland fan at the start of the year, look, you lose one game to Burnley 2-0, but you're sitting 7th in the league. You drew 2 games against Palace and Villa, who are arguably at the start of the season were favourites to get one of the European places. Then you beat West Ham 3-0 on the first game, and you beat Brentford. They'd snap your arm off of that. They would be over the moon. And honestly, well done to them. 7th in the league. Brilliant. Now moving on to the Europa League. So the Europa League does kick off tonight. So the first games we have is PAOK versus Tel Aviv. So a couple of teams who we've never probably heard of, and I've definitely not heard of some of these teams before. I think the main games really are you've got Real Betis versus Nottingham Forest, so Anthony versus Nottingham Forest as I'm looking at it. I think that'd be a great game for Forest. If Forest can definitely get a win there, brilliant news for them, and they can probably kickstart something in the league under Ange. Obviously, after a disappointing result for them in the past few game weeks, they need to kick on. And if they can get a result here, I think that will definitely boost their confidence. And especially Ange Ball might be underway there, really. I mean, they have very good phases of play when since Ange Postecoglou has took over, but I would say Nuno Espirito Santos would probably have him in a better place right now. That's just my opinion, but we can't just jump to conclusions with Ange Postecoglou because, like, I think that's harsh on any manager just to say, yeah, he's a rubbish manager and he won't do well there. Because I mean, I'm saying it with Ruben Amorim, you've got to give him time, even though the results might be poor, you have to give him time. And I think Ange Postecoglou needs that time there at Nottingham Forest, especially for that transition of style of play. Nuno was very defensive, whereas Ange is very positive and pressing and on the front foot. So I think it will give they will need time there, and eventually they might become a very good side. And obviously with Marinakis, I think he will invest heavily into the squad under Ange, but Ange will be under pressure, and I do believe that Ange won't have will get sacked in March time because I think Marinakis is a very is a very demanding owner, and I think he will definitely want more from Ange Postecoglou if they're not challenging for the Europa League or out of the Europa League. I think Ange Postecoglou could be sacked. Then you've got Celtic are playing tonight against Craneva Severina. So it's a weird teams today who are playing today. I mean, it's like in the Conference League you seem to see some more weird teams. I think Celtic they'll getting positive result there. Fenerbahce versus Dynamo, GNK Dynamo. I think Fenerbahce win that. Who have you got? Roma versus Nice, big game there. I think that's probably the standout fixture. The two big sides there. I mean, you could probably argue that Real Betis is probably the biggest game, but Nice versus Roma, I think it'd be a Roma win there. I think they've got too much quality for them. And then you go on Thursday. So there's Rangers are playing Genk. I think Rangers win that. You've got Salzburg versus Porto. Porto win, and then Villa play Bologna, and I think Villa win that easily. Villa win that. I would be surprised if they don't go and win that. If Villa do win and they win convincingly, I think that kickstarts their season massively, and to help them in the league and get that confidence there really because they've lacked that confidence that they show. And I thought Villa were going to have a much better season than what they're having now. And I just think it's quite unfortunate for Villa, but then at the same time, I think what Villa can easily kick on, and they know the quality that they do possess with Morgan Rogers, Mings, Watkins, and even the manager Unai Emery, and they've shown it before, so they can definitely show it again. Then also tonight we've got the Carabao Cup, so I'll go through yesterday's results. So you have um, where were yesterday's results? Yesterday, so you've got Lincoln versus Chelsea, and I think Chelsea were lucky to win 2-1 there. Wolves beat Everton 2-0, dominant performance from Wolves. Fulham 1-0 against Cambridge, which is surprising. Wickham versus Wigan 2-0 Wickham. Burnley losing 2-1 to Cardiff. And then Liverpool winning 2-1. I think Southampton played really well there. And obviously, Isak is off the mark in a Liverpool shirt, and Ekatike even though scoring and getting set himself sent off. I think he's done a brilliant job there, to be fair. And then tonight you do have a couple fixtures here. So you've got Huddersfield versus Man City. I think Man City easily win that 4-0. But it's away. Huddersfield, if they keep it tight, get an early goal, you never know what will happen. But I think City will easily win there. Then you've got Port Vale versus Arsenal. Arsenal travelling to the Valley. I think Port Vale lose that game 4-0. I think it'll be a dominant performance from the Arsenal. Massive favourites into there. And I think Arsenal will definitely should get through 100%. And then the draw is after them the Arsenal game tonight. So hopefully, I mean, as a United fan, I want Huddersfield and Port Vale to get through, but I doubt that will happen. And I think Man City and Arsenal will get through into the draw, and hopefully they get a bit of a tough that the next round's a bit of a tough draw for him. I think, especially if like say City or Arsenal can draw Chelsea or Liverpool, then set something up, and it gives like the underdogs a bit of a chance. Like Swansea, for example, it gives them a bit of a chance to try and get through into the next round. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Well, that is everything for today. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Yeah, and just any comments will be appreciated. And if you can give me any comments and share the video, like it as well. The comments is just going back to the comments. If you can give me a comment on what I can do for future videos, that'd be much appreciated, and I can try and embed them into up and coming videos that might happen. But yeah, catch you all in a bit.